What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Retro Pioneers Podcast. I'm your host, Blackboy J, and I got my co-host, Byron P. Jackson.
What's good?
And today, man, we got a special guest coming on to the episode, man. You know, Chris, a.k.a. SSJ Blackarrot, about to bring us some heat today to y'all, and we about to see what's going on in his head today. So introduce yourself to the people who don't already know you.
I am excited to be here once again. Thank you for the invite. And I'm your boy, SSJ Blackarot, a.k.a. the Great One, a.k.a. Last Gamer Standing. I have a story about that. I want to get into that at some point. The AKAs, it's crazy because I see people doing AKAs. And it's, I'm like, dang, like, does everyone do it now? Should I still do it? But whenever I see the record button live, I'm like, yo, something comes up and back in that mode.
Dude, that's what's up. Well, you know, the AKAs, they hail from, I'm not sure if they still do it in rap, but rappers used to do the AKAs, man. Everyone used to have four different names they went by, AKA Ho, AKA, Pretty Flacco, AKA, Soups was like AKA Nemo, Finding Nemo Hoes.
But, I mean, coming from that time of the era, yeah, they did have a lot of, like, Puff, for example. Puff had almost like 5-6 stage names.
Can't talk about Diddy, really.
Yeah, you're right. So, what?
So, another rappers, yeah.
But far as the AKAs, man, people gonna know you for everything you do, bros, from this name to that name. But what makes the name that you have right now stand out? Like, how do you decide to name yourself that?
So SSJ Blackarot is it's a riff off. So if you watch Dragon Ball Z, main character Goku, his Saiyan name is Kakarot. Realize, wait a minute, I could put black in front of it and it makes sense. So SSJ Blackarot. And Goku is he's such a character. He is the fundamental shonen protagonist. If I want to do something, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just keep getting at it and just have fun with it. So I feel like that embodies me. That embodies like my spirit. Like I want to, like if I'm focused on something and I love doing what I want to do, like that's sort of like with content creation. Sort of with what we're going to talk about tonight. It's just something that like I could work a full shift at work and then come in, I like do a podcast, edit that same night, and like then go to work the next morning. It sort of takes like different energy from me than other things do. So yeah, Goku's my spirit animal.
Hey, Goku, a cool cat.
No, I think he's all of our spirit animals, man. He's the ultimate confidence character. He thrives off of building up his own confidence internally.
Yep. So that's it's I don't know, like I feel like people I'll get the half of like they'll see it and they're like, wait a minute, Dragon Ball reference. They'll see, some people will even see the SSJ, and like SSJ is like back when like DBZ was like, I'm still like reading stuff on the internet from things from Japan, and like that's like they'll reference Super Saiyan, Super
Saiyan 40
as a reference, and it just all stuck, and I just went with
it. Okay. So can you tell us about your journey as being a creative director and what inspired you to pursue that career?
So right now I'm a creative director for Atlanta Press Play. We pretty much do events for artists, for actors, for pretty much anyone that's in like the creative scene in Atlanta. We have events where if you want to perform music, if you want to play your music in front of a crowd, you have that space to do it. But then you also have your space network to speak to other people in the industry. And like, to me, that's the most important, is being able to connect with other people that are doing what you're doing and just sort of uplifting each other up. Like I love being in an environment where we're all looking out for each other. So that I feel like really is just the culmination of what I've done over the years. I've started in 2011 when no one was talking about podcasts. Like people at that point were maybe making like YouTube videos and like doing stuff like that. But a friend of mine actually just out of the blue hits me up and is like, hey, like I want to make a podcast. We're going to talk about technology, talk about video games. And like, that's all he gave me. And I was like, okay, cool. Like at this time I'm at school, I'm just working, and it's just like one extra thing that I sort of added to my plate. But it became something that I enjoyed doing. It's something that like I just had a passion. And like back then, there was, there wasn't a Riverside. There wasn't, all of like these tools that people use now to make content. So I really had to go to YouTube, and, big believer YouTuber University. And I got to learn everything, anything that I needed to learn how to do, Googling, watching videos, just asking people, hey, like, what do you use? Like just networking. It all came from that. Coming from like that background of just like doing it as a hobby. Like I was just doing it, super part-time throughout the years. So we went from the actual first show was Tech Guru, where, it was just a couple of us guys talking about technology. And through that, I learned, I guess I was like more of like the gaming guy. The guy that brought me in, he was, the tech guy. And I was like, you know what? I'm a believer of the rule of threes. We need a third person. So I went and reached out to another friend, and he was like our phone guy. Came in, like knew so much about phones. I was like, bro, I didn't know you knew all this about phones. But we really made it work, and we all brought something to the table that just made it like just fun to do. But just over time, like passions for some people, like I'm not gonna say fizzle out or they just don't want to do it anymore. But it came to that. It came to the point where I was like, all right, got to make a schedule. We have to be consistent on these shows. We got to like make a website. We got to do this, that, and the third. And then the guy that brought me in was like, all right, Chris, you're taking this way more seriously than I even planned on taking this. So, like shout out to you, but like, I'm going to have to like bow out of it. So, it was tough sort of like going through that, but like I loved what I was doing at the time. I was like, you know what, this isn't going to stop me. I'm going to keep it going.
Struck a chord.
I did. I found something that I love to do. I found something that like I could connect people and like just connect with people. And it really got me through dark times over the years, like just on and off doing content, but then getting back into it with another gaming show, Should I Play That? Which I feel like is like the longest running project that I've been doing. We haven't dropped anything in a minute, but 2025 is around the corner. People ask, well, what's your 2024 game of the year? People are already in my like DMs like, yo, 2024 game of the year, what are you going to give it to? And I'm like, all right, look, I haven't even wrote a list yet. So, I got some work to do. But right now I'm in that weird stage where it's like, I'm working on Atlanta Press Play, which is more of like on the production side, but I still want to have like my brand. I still want to do my things. I was telling Blackboy J, I was like, yo, this is like first stop of my comeback tour. So like, once again, I appreciate being on here tonight.
No, man, it's no problem, man. No problem at all.
No, definitely. We love having you. I mean, can't wait to get into more. I mean, that's awesome. You guys started back in 2011. And when your friend backed out, what did your other friend say at the time?
So he stuck along for a little bit too, but it was one of those things where it was like, I honestly at that point really felt like I was I'm not going to say only person that really cared about it, but when you're that passionate about something, like that's what you're going to feel like. So
you wanted to see growth.
I wanted to see growth. So, once again, networking, reached out to two other friends, got them pulled in, and like we just kept it going. We ended up going from Tech Guru to I think a show called S Rank. So then I reached out to a friend of a friend who saw that I was doing podcasts at the time. So we did a show called Should I Watch That? So we did Should I Watch That and Should I Play That like concurrently. And Should I Watch That was, I want to say like an experience that taught me like if I really want to be serious about this stuff. Because for me, I was the gaming guy. I was the guy that like, yo, let's talk about video games. Let's talk about like, what's popping, what's new. But when it came to movies, TV shows, like I wasn't, like I couldn't tell you who like directed something, but the guy that I was working with was so knowledgeable to the point where I was like, damn, like, am I the color commentary now? Like, am I here just to crack jokes? But that's where I learned. I was like, you know what? Like, people have their lanes, and like I appreciated like just the knowledge that he brought on. But at the same time, I didn't want to be the person that didn't know what he was talking about. So I really learned doing Should I Watch That? Like, when we have a show talking about like a certain movie, certain TV show, all right, let me research this project. Let me research these people who, worked on this project. And that just brought like another like meaning and love to like what we do as content creators. Yeah.
Okay.
So that experience really just like sort of snowballed into everything else that I did.
Okay. So how do you stay creative and push boundaries when working on your project?
So, I mean, creativity is that weird thing where I feel everyone has their source or like their inspirations. So, for me, like my creativity really comes down to, I guess, getting everything together and like, all right, we have, let's say we have like I'm doing press play right now. All right, we have this, we have an artist coming in. All right, what are their projects that they're working on? What are some things that they've worked on? What are some things about them that people may not know, or things that we could sort of dig into? So like, just sort of like, to me, I turned everything into a video game. I really turned into like, all right, this is the problem. Like, what is the solution? What can I do to get through this part?
Okay.
That's what's up. So during the research process, I mean, how deep are you guys going? Are you guys trying to dig, like, is it just kind of dependent person to person, star to star, or event to event? Like what you're going for? Or is it usually, I guess, to set like barometer?
So it depends on the artist. It depends on, like you said, like the event and everything. But like if it's someone that's well known, the creative process is sort of like introducing people who may not know him, or put people on to like what they do. And if it's someone that's like not really well known, all right, so like how can we get to know this person? What can we do to sort of bring that person's personality out? Because at the end of the day, like, the guests that we have on whatever show that we do, like, I want them to be highlighted. I want them to be like the star of like what we're doing, and I want people to really know who this person is.
Okay. So how do you decide on which topics you talk about on your podcast? Like, what's the rough draft or the ideal process behind that?
So, I mean, it depends on the project. So I've worked on podcasts where, Should I Play That is something that was like sort of like crafted over, a certain amount of time, where we learned that, all right, like we'll have like a certain, like we'll start off with what we're playing. We'll then, get into the news, and then like we'll end off on like some sort of like topic of like something that we feel like is either trending or something that we feel like needs to be talked about. So even on like a gaming show, it was during one of the Should I Play That runs. It was during the time where there was, the George Floyd thing happened. So like being able to sort of have like the mental capacity of like being like, all right, a week like this where like people are so emotional and people are like having conversations that they're not used to having, it's okay to sort of peel back and be like, hey, let's not talk about video games. Let's sort of talk about and navigate what people are feeling. So you really like to be a content creator, you really have to be adaptable and be able to be quick on your feet. You could walk into a podcast thinking you're going to talk about one thing. And I've been in that situation. It's like, all right, cool. I'm going to be on the show with you guys. We're going to talk about this one thing. And then it's sort of like fear is right. And we're talking about something completely different. So I try to keep my process more concise, but like with great conversation, you never really know where it's going to go. So as long as we can have that great conversation, that's what matters.
Yeah, I appreciate that you guys did that during your podcast. I mean, because especially today's, just being in America, being Black, in today's political climate, we have to talk about the big issues sometimes when they come up, when they're really big, when they reach that level of a boiling point. And so some channels don't take that risk, and I think more channels need to. That's something we're going to be definitely doing here. But I want to congratulate you for doing that, and keep doing that, keep that up, because it's definitely needed to bring up those moments, talk about them, address them. We can't just, the show can't just go on as usual when big things like that happen, because then it just seems like, wait, well,
careless.
What world are you living in? It's like,
that level of like just being genuine. Like for me, I want all my content to be genuine. So I can't, if, you know, something big happens in the world, I can't sort of like just sort of skirt past it, because like at some point, you know, we never know like the content that we make, how far reaching it is. So, you know, my first couple of years of doing podcasts, sort of looking at like clicking on stats and just seeing people from all over the country, all over the world, and like countries that I would have never imagined someone clicking on my link and like listening through it and liking it. Like it's crazy. So for me, I want to be aware of like, all right, people are going through things, and you know, things aren't like, it's I'm not gonna say things aren't always great, but like it's okay to sort of like talk about and like have those conversations.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Something I was noticing, right, in different podcasts, because like I said, I study other podcasts to see what I can do better or learn from them, right? Not to pass judgment, but just to learn what things not working on their end, what things to work on my end. But witnessing this, you know, I learned that you shouldn't really involve politics in something like that. But at the same time, you want to keep everybody aware of, especially when it has, like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to sound harsh when I say this, but all lives matter at the end of the day, right? But for us, it's even worse when something happens to a black person that's severe, like the George Floyd situation. And, you know, as us being, you know, of the same color, we should stand up for what is right. And that's when I believe politics should be implemented then, because we have to talk about this, because it has to be addressed, because, you know, at the end of the day, it's going to look like we're scared and we're kind of like going along with it in the sense of the matter. But it's just a simple fact, man. You know, we're living in crazy times right now, especially in America and the land of the free. And, you know, the whole ordeal, man, is just being able to bring content like me and you was talking about earlier to put joy in people's lives, you know, to be able to, you know, uplift one another and connect with one another on a special level. And I feel at the end of the day, man, this is the best time to do it.
So we have to make sure we clarify one thing for the audience, though. Yes, we all know all lives matter, but Black Lives Matter is our stance on this show. That is what we stand for, because it doesn't mean no other lives matter. It's just like when you say save the rainforest, it doesn't mean screw the other trees. So we just have to make sure we know that everyone here in the audience understands that we are a Black Lives Matter show.
Best believe that. Hey, so it's a wonderful feeling, man. Just being able to just be able to voice your like ideas and your, I wouldn't say rant, but you know, just being able to just voice yourself in front of a lot of people, man. It's just a wonderful feeling. You know, like yet again, Chris, we just want to be able to know what was the work, what was the best time in you creating content for your first podcast, and what was the worst part of you, like the worst part of content creation?
Best part, I mean, good segue into like, or like keeping the conversation on like the whole Black Lives Matters thing, was like I had a project that I worked on during that time where at like a Black Lives Matter rally, I had met some people, and just meeting people and like just having conversations. Somehow that led to all of us like getting breakfast or lunch somewhere, and then finding out that I did podcasts. And I was like, yeah, like I do podcasts. Like, I mean, this would be like perfect opportunity. We're in the climate of like having these conversations. And like, that was my first time like building a set, and really like, these are people that I literally just met, and being able to sort of, and like, none of them did content. So being able to sort of coach and like develop a show, and like doing 2 seasons of a show, like that was a really good feeling. Knowing that I could really like take something literally out of nothing and like turn it into something that people enjoy. And like just having, and like that show, it's called That's Unfortunate. And having people from different walks of life different races. We literally talked about everything. We talked about politics. We talked about stuff on social media. We really just, had like a really good time just having conversations about stuff. So being able to do stuff like that, greatest time. Worst time, I mean, honestly, is going to be it's the mental health aspect of content creation. So, people get really involved in looking at numbers. People get really involved in people aren't really sharing my stuff or really fucking with it. You could curse on here, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Some people, I think they're in it and the wrong reasons. So like in my journey, sort of like being in that headspace of like, damn, maybe I'm not really that good at what I'm doing, and like just like sort of dimming my light. That's the worst thing you could ever do. And that's with anything that you do, anything that you're proud of doing, don't let people dim your light. Don't let that happen. So learning how to sort of navigate through all that stuff, because social media, like it's a wild west. Like there's a lot of people out there, and like different types of people, different types of mindsets. You can find the best of people and you can find the absolute worst of people. But knowing what you could do to sort of help protect your mental, that's important. That's very important for us.
What are some of your key, maybe like week to week or day to day things if you're feeling like you've been really grinding too much, or you need to take a break, or just it's been dragging on you?
I'm a big believer of, if I'm going to work hard, I'm going to play hard. That's, hitting up the friends, being like, hey, let's head out somewhere, or shoot, let's have like a game night. Let's hang out, doing something, like being with people. Like I recharge when I'm with people. I'm able to just sort of be myself and be like relaxed. So like when I'm in that space, like I get that recharge. But sometimes like it's okay to step away too. So like if it's week where I feel like there's like just too much going on between work, between life, like time is all we really have on this planet. So
for real.
I've just had to tell myself, hey, I'm doing what I can in all aspects. But at the end of the day, like if I'm not feeling good about myself, then I sort of have to like slow things down and like get back to that point where like I'm feeling normal. So I can have weeks where like things are a little bit slower and I'm able to like pump out content and do things. And then there's weeks where things are happening at work, things are happening in like people's lives I'm involved with. So like it's just a lot. So just being aware within myself, like where I'm at.
Nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Gotta take those moments.
Exactly. You got to, man. Because like me and you was talking about earlier, you are your worst critic at the end of the day. You can make or break whatever you set in store for yourself. And I'm a firm believer in pushing myself to become the better version of myself. Because at the end of the day, when coming to making, Retro Pioneers, I was in a point where I'm like, what am I really trying to like drive here? Am I trying to do this for money, or am I trying to do this for clout, or whatever the case may be? But then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be who I am outside of the podcast. A genuine person whose mindset is to build everyone around me. And it's like to the point where I saw that light, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna follow that light. And as this journey started progressing, man, like right here, you see, I met Byron. He been a great addition to Retro Pioneers, man, and I'm grateful to have him.
Appreciate that.
And the way we move as far as making guests feel welcome, and cracking jokes, laughing, it's wonderful, bro. Because I didn't think it was gonna be this 3 months ago. It was just a dream to me, but now it's reality. So it's like, you know what? As a content creator, I give everyone who's into content creation the utmost respect, because it's hard at the end of the day. But at the same time, it's up to you to either make it fun or make it hard on yourself.
Yeah. No, it's so true that you mentioned that, because you have to just put yourself out there and go for these things. Because when you put yourself out there, it was like at the same time I was trying to put myself out there, and we just managed to kind of mesh and connect at the right time to get this thing started, because I was wanting to do more podcasting. you were looking for somebody to do podcasts with. I was, oh, this is perfect. This is what I was looking for. So you got to just, go for those things, go for those moments. And when you put yourself out there, little by little, step by step, effort by effort, it'll start to blossom. Things will start to make itself.
Mm-hmm.
Big believer in universal timings. Sometimes when your heart is set on something, like those timings, it'll hit and like it just works. So just keep it going. Yeah.
Yeah, it's those energies, those coincidences that aren't coincidences, but are really coincidences.
So, as someone who's involved in the gaming, right, what trends of gaming in the gaming industry excites you more right now?
Ooh, so trends right now. So the gaming industry is like in a weird place right now.
Yes, it is.
I think in the past couple of years, we've been in a state where people were like, yo, there's just like no great games to play, yada, 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 or all these games suck. I'm like, no, you're just playing the wrong games. You're still playing Call of Duty. You're still playing 2K, the same game that comes out every year. Like you gotta open up and play other things. There are great games out there. So seeing good games sort of like come out of nowhere, like I love seeing that. This year for me, like the biggest games I guess the games I've had like a ton of playtime in, Helldivers 2. Had no idea I was going to play 500 hours of Helldivers 2 this year, but I've done that. And recently, Marvel Rivals, free-to-play game, like destroying other hero shooters right now. So like Overwatch is like on alert right now. So I love seeing competition in like different like genres now. So having an Overwatch 2 competitor is great. I'm playing Marvel Rivals nonstop, just hit platinum. So I'm excited about that.
Nice.
But besides that, just sort of like, I don't know, like we're in a space where AAA games, like I don't think Game of the Year should be like exclusive to just like AAA games right now. Like there are a lot of like really small games that have like captured my attention. And for a while on Should I Play That, our Game of the Years most likely were like indie games or games that weren't really like well known, but did something in a certain way that like really captured like our hearts that year. So, right now, I think we're sort of in like the tail end, not the tail end, but like we're in a transitional shift where, Nintendo, they're about to drop a system. So once Nintendo drops their system, typically a couple years later, PlayStation and Xbox, they're right after that. So, what does that look like? What is the next PlayStation looks like? What does the next Xbox look like? And then there's also virtual reality. Virtual reality is something I feel like some people don't really mess with, but once they do and they don't get so seasick, they really love.
Yeah.
I've met some friends that I still like keep up with to this day. During COVID, bought myself an Oculus and playing games like VR chat or games that sort of give you like that public space to sort of just chill and interact with people. I've met like random people, random corners of the earth, and to be able to like meet people and actually like connect with them and like follow each other on social media. Them wishing me a happy birthday a couple of days ago, like that was something that like it means something to me because it's like we've never met in real life, but like I consider you a friend because of just like conversations that we've had or being able to sort of vent with each other, like just being human with someone that's not physically present next to you.
Man, sometimes that small gesture, man,
goes a long way. You never know what, a smile, a compliment, doing something nice to someone could completely like change someone's day.
Definitely. Now, this is like basically an online VR chat room.
Yeah.
Vicious. And now are they, I mean, how do you just kind of go into a certain area, or, I mean, walk me through your first time going to one of these. What was that like?
It sounded like Byron on an Oculus.
Well, no, I'm just curious because, well, to me, VR is that thing that it's like, it's that future thing that we all know. It's like AI where everyone knows it's coming. It's just a matter of time. When does it get here before everyone's using it, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's what's going to happen one day. We'll probably be gray in the hair, but it's going to be that thing where it's just as available as this, and everyone's going to have one. So what was your first experience that new chat room, and you're like, oh, Ready Player One. Let's go.
Very first experience, honestly, it felt like a fever dream. It legit like felt like something like I was in like some sort of like weird hallucination or something, because like you're in this world and like you're looking around and like seeing the game world, like however like the game is, like if you're playing something like Meta Horizon, things are sort of like cell shaded, cartoonish looking, but like it's real people. Every person that you see in like the lobby in the world, like they're the cesspools there too. Some people are yeah, you do. So you have people that are like intentionally like getting close to your player avatar, or just being loud and obnoxious on the microphone. But I'm a firm believer of the block button. So as soon as someone comes in, they're turning up, block. People are like, oh, this person's doing this, that, and third. I said, what person? You mean that? I mean the person that was yelling when he walked in the room?
Yeah.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
No, you got to be a friend with the block button. Some people are afraid of it. I don't know why, but it's one of my best friends.
Some people love the back and forth. I don't got the time for it.
Exactly. It's back to time. I mean, time is everything. Especially if I'm in a VR experience and I want to be, feeling that sci-fi love. I don't want to be yakking with some, obnoxious dude from Tennessee.
Well, like that, so like that does happen. But then like the good parts of it, of being able, like I said, to just walk up to someone. So like the Oculus has like the Facebook Horizon like event space. So like you have different like worlds, you have like cities, you have like a comedy club. Someone built like a VR school, like a virtual school, like just random like experiences that you could think of, like people will create, and just walking in and just saying, hey, what's up with people, or just talking about things, or just jumping into conversations that people are already having. It's almost like sort of like walking outside and like doing the same thing, just meeting people.
That's so cool. I feel so old that I didn't realize we were already at VR chat rooms. So they're growing so fast. I'm like, gosh, okay, now I'm the old man in the room.
Hey man, see, the technology is there. It just, we try not to, because I've been debating if I wanted to get one. I'm really not there yet, but I got people around me who's keep peer pressuring me into getting one. So it's like, I like what Byron mentioned, at the time it's going to come to the point where we won't have a choice if we want to be entertained to even get to that. But, I just feel like I'm still enjoying the nostalgia of a physical thing. Like I'm playing a game.
So I understand that, but there's something about playing a video game and you're looking up at a boss and you could like run, like dodge behind the boss, climb up its back and like hit weak points.
Yeah.
Like that, you're in the game. So it's something that like I'm glad that I have like experienced it. I'm glad that it's sort of like evolving and just getting better. And it's getting more affordable. Except for like, Apple's, Vision Pro, which is like obscenely priced.
They're always going to push the price market. It's like they're going to just mess it up for everybody.
Yeah, for no reason. Like I'm glad that Facebook is staying in the realm of like we're going to have something that's more affordable for people. I think now they have the Quest 3 and then the 3S, which is like the 3, but just a little bit cheaper. I think they swapped out. I think the actual lenses is different, and they'll just use different parts in the thing. But like it's still as strong as the Quest 3. It's cool, even if you don't want to do the VR stuff. The AR stuff is cool. So having like, let's say you're sitting at your desk, you have your headset on, you have your computer monitor here. You wanted to have YouTube up in the corner. You wanted to have like something else up, like different screens all in front of you. Like you could do that.
That's what's
We're living in the future.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
It's here, man.
My bad. Go ahead. Let me ask you this, right?
Yeah.
So looking at that PS5 behind you, right? Can you connect it to that PS?
Not yet. So PlayStation, you know how they play. You gotta buy the
proprietary.
Yeah.
PlayStation VR.
But you could plug your Quest up into like your PC and do like PC VR.
Okay.
That's what's up. It's just, we're definitely, I mentioned earlier, we're going to have to play some Helldivers together.
Yes, let's do that. It's great.
100%.
My sister's boyfriend had like came over and visited, and I was like, yo, have you seen Helldivers 2 yet? So like sitting him down and like sort of teaching him how to play, and like this is one of those games that literally like they thought of everything, like being able to like dodge and like aim down the sight or like click a button if you wanted to go back in the third person, and just sort of teaching him like the ins and out. Like he fell in love with the game instantly. I was like, yes, I have another diver with me.
You got another one right here, man. I need some more people to dive with for real. But
Yo,
that also brings me to third-person games, and I always wondered, why isn't VR also doing third-person experiences also? Because I'd love to have a third-person option, at least in a first-person game, or just a pure third-person VR experience where I can swivel with my controller, and I can also just turn to the side, look real quick, and see everything around my character. I feel like there's some value in that too, because then it's just like the whole world's around you, and you are now the camera behind your character. So, man, gotta be something like that.
I don't know if this is true or not, because obviously I don't have one, so I can't really speak on it too much. But my friend, he has one, right? And he told me about the Batman VR. He also told me about the Assassin's Creed VR. So playing those games, or just games in general, you only can use your hands, like the sticks that come with it, or you can also use a controller.
So yeah, so you have like your like the controllers that come with like an Oculus, like it'll give you some like, functionality with like having a joystick. It has buttons on it and everything. So when it comes down to playing like shooters or adventure games, like you have like the options of like hitting buttons and still doing stuff. And then like with games like with like Batman, they sort of like into the combat built into like Batman automatically like kicking. So like he's still kicking and everything. He's still, whooping ass, but like it's all first person. Like you're in the cowl.
So I don't think we're getting that right now, Byron.
Well, no,
I just wanted to know what you
thought about. There are games. Yeah. There are games that are third person. Moss is a really good one. That one's like a third person. It's like your like action adventure game. That one's like a really good third person game. You have puzzle games. So you have some puzzle games where you can sort of do it like in AR or like in the VR, where like I can literally like sit here like playing like a puzzle game. I'll have like the puzzle cube like right in front of me, and with my hands, because it's hand tracking, I can like move puzzle pieces and like do stuff like that.
Okay,
there you go.
So jumping off topic, right, from gaming, I also know you're an anime fan, right? So what animes are you binging on right now?
Ooh, all right. So obviously, big Dragon Ball fan. So I'm watching Keeping Up with Daima right now. Shout out to all the Vegeta fans. We had our moment this last week. We have to applaud this man. This man came through so cold with the Super Saiyan 3. It was great. It was marvelous. I'm still tingling watching that episode. But that's the biggest one right now. Try watching Dan to Dan. That's weird. It's a weird show. It's a cool like the opening is great, but like it's a weird show. I think that's honestly like I also work retail, so like right now it's tail end of holiday season. So like I've really just been at work, coming back home and like playing Marvel Rivals or Helldivers. Like I haven't really been watching anything besides Daima.
Well, let me rephrase that.
All you need though sometimes just a little bit of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, most time you can get your fix off of Dragon Ball. But growing up, was you always an anime watcher, or it just so happened to happen?
So growing up, like back in the day when my family, we didn't have cable, Telemundo on the afternoons had Spanish Dragon Ball Z. So that's where I got my anime fix.
Yo,
no idea what they were saying.
Were you able to learn Spanish?
Still can't learn. I still don't speak Spanish. That's crazy, right?
And just from watching that little bit, I'm now fluent in Spanish. I've been to Spain 3 times, been to Mexico 15.
Yeah, no, I was just interested to see him throw hands.
What's crazy, and I put this on everything, right? I also found out about Dragon Ball, like the OG one from Telemundo too, bro.
See?
And when I was fortunate to get around cable, I started watching the English version, the American version. I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I like this.
So this is what they were talking about the whole time.
This is what they talking about. But going into that, right? Looking at how anime was then and now, do you really see a big difference?
I mean, it's popular. It's pop culture now. Like anime, gaming, like all this stuff is pop culture. So I think the grasp is bigger. I'm glad that we don't have to wait like forever in a day for like another season of a show like we used to. So now I think the industry is more like concise. They have like their set seasons for certain shows and everything. So I think they're definitely pumping out more anime. So like it's a great time to be an anime fan. Back in the day when you had to watch an episode in 6 parts on YouTube. See, they don't know about that. People do not know about that. So like
YouTube
OG
just
anime.
popping?
Yeah. Watching an episode and it's like 7 parts.
Oh yeah.
So it's either watching the episode in 7 parts or watching the I don't want to butcher it, the AMV, as far as having music video, like the actual show being a music video. Like especially if you know what I know, watching Dragon Ball clips with Linkin Park on it.
Linkin Park?
No, I used to love those clips, but there were some crazy, awesome different clips people used to make, those little edits and everyone just powering up.
Yo, man, and I tell you, trying to figure out YouTube then, right, was crazy because it's like, okay, well, we got this tool in the palm of our, like, not in the palm of our hand because we didn't really have cell phones like that. Yeah, it was just on the PC. But on a stream where we can easily obtain these shows or videos of just anything. I learned how to tie my first tie with YouTube.
And like, look,
so it's like
we're living in the age of Aquarius right now where like the information is out there if you want it. And if you want to learn how to do anything, like it's just out there. So like literally like, we're living in the best age to really do what you're passionate about. And like I always tell people, like if you want to start something, just do it. Just do it and keep working on it.
Yeah, the tools, it's like you said, it's the Wild West, but the tools are out there. They're there. Just gotta have a little bit of persistence.
What is some of your all-time favorite games? Like from your childhood? It don't have to be a lot. Like your top 5 games from childhood to adulthood.
So best memories for sure. So like I guess growing up, Nintendo era. First game, Sonic. So shout out to Sonic 3 if you haven't seen it yet. Man, peak is like they did that. Like so if you're a Sonic fan or just like video game movies, go see it. It's amazing. Jim Carrey, like he did his thing.
The GOAT.
The GOAT. Yeah. So shout out to Sonic.
Color
that
veteran.
Man. When I say I think they just gave him a check and told him, hey, do what you want.
Yeah.
He did it.
Yeah.
And looking at a living color, right? The name itself is living color.
Yeah.
And seeing a white boy, he wasn't a man then. Seeing a white boy, seeing a white girl. Because them was some 2 funny Caucasians, bro. They earned everything they got right now from the living color. And one thing I love about Jim Carrey, not jumping off topic, that he applauds Damon Wayans, Keenan Wayans, for the opportunity to even be on the show. Every time he get a chance, he does it. He said he would not be where he at now if it wasn't for Keenan Ivan Wayans, bro. And that right there shows so much humility, like in humbleness within yourself, bro. Because, most time when we get, like, once we use something and we get to a certain aspect in life, we get beside ourselves, we get cocky, and our egos get rubbed. So it's like, just witnessing that and looking at the growth that he done did with these Sonic movies, bro, I condone him for real. And he would always, forever be one of my favorite actors, bro.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, so I, like growing up playing Sonic games like that was something that I did like at my cousins. Because growing up, my parents were super strict. So no TV during the week. no video games during the school year. So my first like actual console that I had myself was the Nintendo 64. Growing up playing Smash Brothers, growing up playing Mario Party, games like that. Like that was my childhood. But didn't really play more video games until maybe like college.
Yeah.
PS3, 360, went in heavy on Destiny. That came out. Big Destiny fan. I like Destiny 2 and like kept playing, but sort of fell off over time. But need to go back and like, finish the story and everything. But Destiny will always have a place in my heart because of just like the community that I built with like the friends that I was already playing with, but then also meeting other people and doing raids like every week and trying to grind for gear, trying to grind for, Trials of Osiris. So playing all of that, like that's core memory. And I think just like, besides that, like just my experience with just VR as like a whole, like it's something that I love. And like to this day, I've never played Resident Evil 7 like the normal way. Only played it in VR.
Wow.
You're better than me.
But it's all about like your experience and like how you get used to doing things. So like first experience, Resident Evil 7 was something where like, yes, like I'm like peering through like corners and like trying to like be sneaky and everything. But by the time I got to the end of the game, main character energy. Like I'm like running into rooms and like pulling out the knife, trying to like stab the zombies and like just doing things that just like it's goofy, but I'm getting things done just because of like how comfortable I got to get to that point. Seeing that, like I take that and I look at that whenever I try to apply myself doing something new. It's like, all right, I'm just not used to doing this yet. But there's gonna be a point where I'm gonna like walk into a room and like flip something over and just be super stylish about it. And I'm like, all right, I get it now.
Nice. That's what's up. Yeah, those are great choices. I mean, obviously VR is going to be that next wave. And so I guessing once we get quantum computing and AI takes off, VR is going to be here in like an instant.
Yeah.
Someone won't even have to leave the bed. You just put the headset on and plug the thing in the back of your neck, like in the anime.
Oh my God. Ready Player One.
Sword Art Online. I just hope I don't want to get trapped in one though. I don't want some evil genius to be like, you're all trapped just like Sword Art Online.
Like if Elon puts out a headset, we know what not to do.
Right? Oh, yeah. Don't ever play his game. Ever.
No. But man, it's been a blast, bro. Chris, having you on the show, man, and let everybody know right now what you're currently working on and what they can expect from you in 2025.
All right. So right now, you can follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, SSJ Blackarot. Right now, I'm posting, I guess, just like what I feel like at this point. I'm still trying to zero in on like the niche that I want to do on my platform, but I just love talking about, stuff that I love to talk about. So it might just be that for the time being, but planning on doing something with Should I Play That? So Should I Play That is on TikTok. It is on Instagram. That's going to be maybe like spring 2025. And then Atlanta Press Play. We're working on doing some events. So we should see something maybe in February. So check us out on Instagram, ATL Plus Play. And that's all I'm really working on now. Oh, and then follow me on SSJ Blackarot because I have side projects that are like lining up to like actually come through, but I'm a firm believer of not jinxing things yet. So
yeah.
I'll make those announcements soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Hey man, we would greatly love to when we all have free time to appear on your podcast, man. And
yes, 100%.
You guys have some love, man. But man, like I said before, man, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today and gracing us with your presence, bro. We greatly appreciate it. And we grateful to have Mr. Byron to join us tonight, man. It's always a wonderful experience having you here, man. Like I said before, you are a great addition to the podcast, and man, we greatly appreciate everything you do behind the scenes and on the scene. And I just want to let everybody know right now, we have some things right now available for our podcast as far as a website. So y'all can go check it out. Listen to the episodes that we post on there. If you don't have time to watch us, the videos, you have the option of listening to us. So we couldn't do none of this without y'all, and we love y'all, and we appreciate it. And we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.